Hi everyone, and welcome to this restorative practice, which is perfect to do just before you go to bed, helping you to wind down, slow down and switch off, ready for sleep. So we're starting this class in a comfortable cross-legged seat. So if you want to sit on a block to help you be that little bit more comfortable, it gives your hips a bit more space to fall into. Once you're there, find that little lift through your chest to give yourself a nice tall and long posture. Your hands can then rest either into your lap or out onto your legs, but let your hands turn down so that your arms can feel nice and heavy and grounded against your legs. Letting your eyes close and just letting your body become still here. Focusing your attention to your breathing. Watching the breath come in as it fills the lungs, and watching the breath go back out. Noticing with each and every exhale how that outward movement of breath gives the body somewhere to soften into, to feel a little looser, a little calmer. So really focusing on those exhales as we move through some different shapes this evening. Keeping those arms nice and heavy down away from the ears. Your chin just lifts slightly away from your chest, and letting your head drop over towards your right shoulder, giving the left side, the neck, a little bit of extra length. You can choose, if you like, to pop your right hand onto the head, not pulling or pressing, just simply resting the hand there. The weight of the arm giving a little extra length, a little extra stretch to that left side. And then releasing, letting your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. Keeping those shoulders drawing down. And same as before, if you want to add that little extra weight, popping your hand to the side of your head. And feeling that length in the right side of the neck. Keep watching that breath in and out of the lungs. And then releasing from there, sending your right leg out at an angle away from you. You can stay sat onto the block if you're onto it. So the sole of your left foot is towards your inner thigh. Reaching gently out through that heel, just allow your body weight to tip forward. So your hands to place in front of your shin. You can walk them as far forwards as you're comfortable to. Let your chin fall towards your chest. So the back of the neck stays long, in line with the rest of the spine. And just think of encouraging your sit bones to stay connected to your block or the mat. And the back of this extended leg to gently press down towards the floor. The body's natural thing to do when you close your eyes is to relax and to soften. So if you want to do any of these shapes with your eyes closed, you are of course more than welcome. And then walk the hands back in and simply switch sides. So your left leg to extend out, the right leg bends back in, sole of the foot towards the thigh. Hands to rest in front of the legs. Think of your body weight tipping forwards out beyond your shins. Drawing a deep breath all the way down towards your belly. And letting your exhale be just as slow and controlled all the way out. Great. Stay here for one more breath in. And then breathing out, walk the hands all the way back in. From there, letting the soles of the feet come to face one another. So butterfly stretch, diamond legs. The little toes to stay connected to one another, but the big toes can fall away from one another. You can choose to either hold your feet or you can just rest your hands again to the floor in front of you. But think of rounding the spine as your head drops in the direction of your feet. Obviously, Does not matter how close or how far away from your feet you are. The chin is to the chest. And there's a rounded feeling in the upper back. As you allow your body weight again to tip forwards, letting your legs feel heavy, falling away from your center. Focusing your breath into the back of the body so that as you breathe in, you feel like you're growing that doming shape a little larger. And as you breathe out, you're finding that extra sink, that extra heaviness in the body. Lovely, rolling your way all the way back upright and then taking your legs out straight in front of you. So the knees and the toes face the sky. And you can either stay sat onto the block, or what can be more comfortable so that the hamstrings aren't feeling too overworked is to pop the block under the knees, which keeps the legs slightly bent and encourages a softer fold into the legs here. So breathing in, circle your arms wide and reach your hands to the sky. As you exhale, think of letting your belly come to rest towards your thighs. Your hands can either rest alongside your legs. If you want to hold on to your legs, then you're very welcome to. But we're not focusing too much on finding our deepest, most flexible shape here. We're allowing the body to fall towards the legs, finding a heaviness in the back of the thighs down towards the floor, but whilst trying to keep that space within the torso. Feel that expanse of your lungs as you breathe in, and the heaviness in the body as you breathe out. And then unraveling, drawing the body back upright, taking away any blocks just to one side, either turning your legs around or rolling yourself over your knees. Allow your knees to stay nice and wide, your big toes to then touch behind you. Sit your bum as close to your heels as you can as you then walk your hands away into child's pose, forehead to rest down to the mat. Keep allowing your hips to feel nice and heavy down towards your feet. And you can always press your hands against the mat a little firmer to encourage that body weight to sink down. Here, as you breathe in, think of widening your rib cage on your inhale and heaviness through the front of your chest on your exhale. Bye, Benny. And then let the palms of your hands come together above you. So narrowing your arms, palms to come together into prayer. Then bending the elbows and taking the hands towards the back of the head or towards your shoulder blades. So a little shark fin above the head. If you're after a deeper opening here, do feel free to place your elbows up onto blocks to deepen the opening into the shoulders, into the upper body. But still focusing on that heaviness through the hips, the sinking through the chest, and just giving the backs of the elbows a gentle press down against the floor. Releasing those hands back down to the mat, looking lightly forwards towards your hands, and then left arm threads underneath the right armpit. Let the shoulder and the side of the head rest against the floor as your right arm stays above you. And you can stay in this version, or if you'd like to, you can take your right arm, placing it over your lower back. Maybe you can find your left thigh to hook your fingertips onto, or just leave your hand resting over your lower spine. A twist into the torso. Think of rolling that shoulder slightly backwards to help your body into the turn. Drawing a strong breath to the bottom of the lungs and a soft breath out. Good. Unraveling the right arm if you took that variation. Undo, bring yourself back to center, and then right arm goes underneath the left. Palm to the sky, gazing to that palm. And either leave the left arm as it is. You can stay in this version. It's a lovely version to stay into. Or you can send the left arm over the lower back. Maybe it can find your right thigh to hook against, or just leave it loosely draping over your back. The hips stay nice and heavy towards the heels. And your focus stays on your controlled, deep, soft breath. And then undoing that bind, unravel. Twist yourself back round to centre. Let your knees come a little bit more narrow, walking your hands forwards and then gently and slowly lowering yourself down onto your front. Sending your right arm out alongside your shoulder. Use your left hand to roll your body onto its right hand side and let your head rest down so that you're not holding the weight of your own head. Your top leg, your left leg, you can just step off behind to help you hold this almost balance on the side of your body, or you can just leave them together if you're already comfortable. Thinking of this right shoulder staying nice and heavy down towards the floor, and focusing your breath into that top side of the right lung. Great, then roll yourself back onto your belly and come straight to the other side. Left arm reaches out, palm faces down. Rolling onto that left side, let your head come down to the floor. And then your top leg, if you wish, can just step off behind you to help your body stay onto your left-hand side. And then drawing yourself back onto your belly. Your hands to come under your chest so you can push your way up onto your knees. Tuck your toes under behind you. Walk your hands back towards your knees, and then as you lift the knees away from the mat, let your heels come to the floor, and you're walking back into a very soft-kneed, floppy forward fold, so ragdoll fold. The torso rests against the thighs. The arms hang nice and loose, as does the head. You can take a few nods and shakes of the head to release any tension in your neck. And maybe it'll feel nice for you to take a soft sway with the torso from left to right. Allow your whole body to feel nice and heavy. A soft lift of the hips up towards the sky. And then from here, let your feet wiggle themselves wider out towards the edges of your mat and the toes to turn away from one another. We're going to sink the hips down towards the heels, but keeping the spine rounded. So your chin towards your chest, your weight can tip forward. So it's a yogi squat variation, but instead of lifting up, we're folding forwards. You can then give yourself a big hug with your arms. So reach towards your own shoulder blades as you think of drawing your chest down between your thighs. The knees stay nice and wide. You can always use your block to pop underneath your sit bones if you're finding this a little bit too intense on your hips for what you're looking for. And then let your hands come to the floor. Your knees to come back onto the mat. Swing your legs round to one side so that you can come to seated with your feet out onto the mat in front of you. Feet are hip distance apart. Arms are going to reach forwards alongside your legs and slowly allow yourself to recline all the way down onto the floor. Bringing your feet a little bit closer in towards your hips so that you can just about feel your heels as you reach alongside your body. From there, pressing the backs of the shoulders into the mat, pressing the feet down, lift your hips away from the floor, finding a soft tuck of the tailbone as we come into bridge pose. If you like and you have a block with you, you can always use your block to then place underneath your hips so that you have something to rest against, making it that little bit softer, but keeping an opening into the front line of the body. Focus the deep breaths right into the front of the chest and sinking the shoulders down against the mat as you breathe out. And then as you breathe out, if you have the block, step it out the way and let your body come back down against the floor. Your knees to then hug in towards the chest to give yourself a soft little squeeze, maybe a gentle sway from left to right. And then popping your right foot down onto the mat, your left ankle to cross over your right thigh, creating a figure 4 shape with the legs. Keep the top foot flexed and then either push the left knee away from you as option 1 or option 2 to draw the thigh towards the body, interlacing the hands around the back of the thigh or the front of the shin and encouraging that leg in towards you. A stretch into the outer left hip is where we should be feeling that. Trying to keep the whole length of the spine down against the floor. Focusing on the in and the out of the breath. Seeing if with each and every exhale you can find a little more softness through the body. And then releasing there, switching the sides, the left foot onto the mat, the right ankle crosses over, flexing through the foot and either pushing the right knee away or interlacing the hands around that left leg. The shoulder blades draw together beneath you. Taking deep breaths in, filling the lungs, filling down towards the belly. Breathing out, sense your body becoming heavier. And then releasing that, let your knees come back in towards your chest for a soft little squeeze. And then this time widening your knees out towards your armpits. You can either stay holding your shins here, encouraging the knees wide but close to the torso, or taking happy baby by sending the soles of the feet to face the sky, reaching up to hold on to the heels, the toes, or some part of your ankle, drawing down against those feet to encourage a deeper bend of the knees, the ankles to stay stacked out on top of the knees, and the lower back to stay down against the floor, trying to resist that backwards roll kind of shape. Visualizing the knees coming towards or even beyond the armpits, not being fussed about what shape they're actually making. You can choose to close your eyes here and just focus onto the feeling rather than the visuals. And then releasing your feet, drawing those knees back in towards your chest for a soft little squeeze. And then letting the knees fall over to the right side of the mat. Your left arm reaches out in the opposite direction and your gaze goes to the hand. Allowing a nice full twist through the spine. Feel like you're wringing your body out here. Allowing the body to return to neutral. And then letting the legs come back to the center before sending them all the way over to the left side. The right arm reaches out in the opposite direction. And the head can follow if that's comfortable, or just allow your gaze to stay towards the sky, maybe with closed eyes, if you prefer. And then finally rolling yourself back onto your back. One leg at a time, allow them to extend out onto the mat. Your arms then alongside your body, Finding a complete release through all the limbs, the face, the belly. Finding complete stillness and allowing your body to feel very heavy down against the mat. Allow your breath to shallow out. Feeling the heartbeat slow. And finally taking a nice deep breath in to bring yourself out of this resting state. Some small movements in the fingers and the toes. Gently drawing the knees towards the body, giving yourself a soft little squeeze. And then slowly making your way back to a comfortable seated position on the mat. The hands can rest again either into your lap or onto your legs. Take a final nice deep breath in as you fill the lungs. And as you exhale, let your palms come together as you lower your chin to your chest. Thanks for taking this class, and I hope you feel ready for a good night's sleep. Usually I'd tell you to watch this video here, but I'm hoping that you're off to bed, so maybe check it out in the morning instead. My latest video can be found here. Don't forget to hit like if you're still awake, and you can subscribe as well if you want to know when my next class is released.